he made such simple changes to the song that had such a huge impact.
This episode is being supported by Orcs, the desktop app that helps you collaborate on music projects with anyone, anywhere in the world, now available on Mac and PC. Click on the link in the description to get 50 gigs of storage for $1.
I think it was about that time where Jack went round to Damon's studio to kind of just play him the songs and see what he thought about them. And this was on the list of songs that we kind of liked, but we didn't know what to do with. So we were like, let's see if he's got some ideas.
That's interesting. So, I mean, is that because Damon's a friend who you run ideas by quite a lot?
No, I haven't ever sort of done that before, but I'd just been working with him quite a lot in Paris on an opera that he'd done. And I guess I felt comfortable enough to say, hey, can you come and give me a hand? And I knew that he'd have some pretty strong ideas about stuff.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Because he's a man with strong ideas about stuff. And he also cannot stop creating. That's the impression I got when we talked to him on another episode of Take Notes fairly recently.
Definitely. But I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, because then you work with him and you get something that's like half finished and you're really excited. And to get him to finish it is incredibly difficult, because he's gone off and done a million other things. And you're like, hey, do you remember that morning we spent? He's like, what? No, what was that? Okay. So yeah, getting him to write the lyrics to this it took a while, but we're very, very grateful that he took the time to do it.
That's great. So tell us about how that evolved then. I mean, did you walk away with something that day? Yeah,
so I played him the bit. Let's just rewind a bit. And we can hear not only that, but also the day in the life kind of transition that we were talking about. And then Damon would have just heard this.
There was another vocal in it, I think.
And I think there was maybe a vocal from me, and he said, mute that for a second. Then he got up and went to the microphone, and he just started singing. And I thought he was just going to give me some like feedback on the structure of the song. And he just started singing this beautiful line. So let me just unmute that so we can go back and hear what he did.
Everyday parade, I hear the folk singing in the towns. They're dedicated to all the sounds they found. In praise of God, they put you in the mind, and then you
find... He's got such a wonderful, tender like quality to his voice that just I think makes that section just work so well.
Yeah, for sure. We were all at home, and we got a message from Jack at the end of the day, and he said, "I hope you don't mind, but Damon Albarn's going to be singing on this one." And I was like, I hope it's good, because we can't really say no to him.
You weren't all, but I was an Oasis fan, not a Blur fan. How dare you?
And then he sent it through, and we're like, okay, fantastic. Like, it's good. And Damon Albarn wants to sing in a song, which is an absolute dream. You know, he's a hero of all of ours.
Yeah.
It's like a dream come true.
Fantastic.
And it was kind of this just injection of energy into not only the song, but us and our feelings towards the song. Because it was this demo and it didn't have all these strings. And I think at that point, we were like, this song is going to be epic. Like, let's go and let's be as over the top as anyone ever could be, and more so than the band has ever been in the past. You know, let's get a brass section, let's get a string section, let's get a choir. And I know that can sound like, it's a very typical Sixth album from a band that's like way too like up there on us. But I think for this one song, it really warranted it, and especially that kind of Beatles influence of that very 60s psychedelic kind of orchestration rather than just like over the topness. And it'd be lovely to actually just isolate some of these. All
the parts are absolutely fantastic. But we should say in your defense that, you know, you've used loads of different kinds of instrumentation and arrangements in the past on other records and live on stage as well. I mean, you've brought on tons of people to bash things and
definitely
play instruments.
There's just something about being in a big studio with a like full orchestra that makes me self-conscious about, you know, I don't know why, I shouldn't be, but it's like, it screams of band midlife crisis to me. Which it shouldn't. I mean,
today's show is brought to you by our friends at Orcs. our podcast looks in depth at the creative process, but one part of the process that we don't talk about is how painful it can be to manage these creative projects, especially when collaborating with other producers, musicians or vocalists remotely online. Currently, it involves numerous apps, websites and tools for file storage, sending large projects or providing detailed feedback. The team at Aux are here to change that. The Aux app keeps your DAW projects synced up in the background, so you don't have to wait for your collaborators to upload their latest version. And what's unique is that you can leave detailed, time-stamped comments on the track and project stems, making feedback so much more precise and easy to manage. You can also relax knowing your projects are backed up too. The app is free for up to 10 gigs of project files, but there's a special offer for Tape Notes listeners. 50 gigs of file storage for just $1 per month by using the code Tape Notes, all one word, when you subscribe to the starter plan. Visit aux.app/Tape Notes to get the full details. And now, on with the show.
And it was fun just because it was such a new experience for us. We'd never really been like behind the mixing desk at a studio with like 50 musicians in front of you. And it was great to have Paul Epworth there to kind of be the captain of the ship at that point. Because I'm not sure if
that's why we got Paul Epworth in. And he actually did a bit of arrangement on the song, but we wanted a safe pair of hands. And I mean, he's done strings with Adele, he's done strings with other people. We knew that he'd be able to kind of stand there and command a room of 40 people.
Right.
And it was an amazing experience.
And what was the technique? What's the special technique?
I think just be charismatic and cool, basically.
Yeah, Paul is definitely that.
Like,
does he wave his arms in a particular way?
He waves his arms, thumbs up, a lot of encouragement. And we're in this church, it sounds beautiful just in the room, all these people playing instruments, everyone standing behind the desk. It was kind of like being in the 70s or something.
Yeah. Fantastic. Doesn't he? I mean, if I remember rightly from when we went there, he's kind of got two desks beside each other.
So he bought two old Neves and then glued them together somehow. So he's got, I think, the biggest Neve in the world. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah,
and sounds really, really cool too.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I mean, did you film this? Are there pictures?
We got some sort of some footage of it. Yeah,
some pictures around.
The one thing I remember sort of being so blown away by with Paul was just how he made such simple changes to the song that had such a huge impact. I remember him just like sitting us down even before we talked about any of the sounds and thinking about the lyrics, which we maybe don't do as much.
Not in the same way. It was like very, very back to basics. He said, okay, this song's called Heaven. What are you trying to get across? And he's like, the best line in this is heaven is a risk I'll take. So like, make that the focus. And we're like, okay, I hadn't really thought of that. I think that's very obvious.
That line probably happened once or twice originally. And he was like, that's gonna resonate with people. And he really thinks about what people will kind of catch on to. And we took out some extra lines that maybe weren't as good and just kept repeating that. And you look back and you think, wow, it's something quite straightforward, but it's made a huge difference to the song.
And in terms of the words, I mean, you said that Damon just stepped up and started singing words.
I think I probably have his original demo, which people might be interested to hear, actually.
Yeah, that would be great. But then in terms of working out the lyric, did you use what he had initially said, and then you said you had to kind of chase him to get him to finish it?
Well, I think he wanted to sing his own lyrics.
Right.
Because we would have offered to say, to save him time. We said, hey, do you want us to have a crack at this? But I think he felt strongly about writing his own words. So that was the part that we had to wait quite a while for, because it's hard writing lyrics. I think he ended up driving from Coachella to like another show in Las Vegas or something, and he said while he's in the car, he'll just like be like making voice members and stuff. So
right,
he was on tour with Gorillaz whilst doing all of this stuff.
Yeah,
there is not a moment in the day where he isn't making music, and it is incredible.
It really does seem that way, doesn't it? It is amazing, because I think that last Blur album was also written on that. Same
really,
I believe.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Every stop to pay.
Yeah, this is him just kind of mumbling, and you can hear some of the lyrics that have kind of been inspired. But
every stop to pay. It's raining cold, and every laden boat's down. It's dedicated all the thought I made.
It's kind of just mumbling, but
it's funny because he is mumbling, but it's all there. Like you can hear the whole song really, and it's got the emotion.
Yeah, it's the emotion and the tenderness is there.
It's raining cold.
It's a wonderful example of demoitis, because we got so attached to these mumbles.
Right.
That, it's It's like a losing battle trying to rewrite these lyrics, because even though they don't mean anything, you get so attached to them, don't you?
You start hearing your own words in them.
Yeah.
That happens with us all the time.
Well, there's a lot of mileage in mumbling, I think.
Yeah. It's a good way to write the lyrics, I find. I think you can kind of tell that Damon works the same way, because the mumbles, they kind of lead you the way to a word that's going to phonetically sound right, and that's halfway to writing a good lyric. It has to. I don't like just writing, like, you're not going to write a poem and then try and smash it into place into the song like really brutally. It needs to the syllables and stuff need to rhythmically work and sound good with the music.
You're putting the emphasis on the melody and then kind of moving around that, I think.
Exactly. I think you can tell when people have written words without music and then tried to place them in. It sometimes, to me, sounds a bit off kilter.